Alright, so Fortnite Creative doesn't have any type of train device to build a train similar to the one in BR. So I went ahead and built one, and I didn't even know if it was going to work, but it actually turned out to be pretty cool. So I'm going to walk you through how I made it, and maybe I'll even turn it into a full game in the future. So let's just get straight into it. Alright, so the first thing I did is create a new project, and I just called it train. If I turn it into an actual game, I'll change it later, but then I just loaded it into the map, and the first thing we need to do is look for a train, and I think we can find one 10 times better than any train I can make. So I found this one on Fab, and then just imported it into Blender and exported it into UEFN, and then just applied the animations, and this is what we got. Alright, so this is what it looks like in game, and this is actually perfect. The only thing we gotta fix is the collision and add the materials. Alright, so I just added the materials, and I mean, this train is actually perfect, but the only thing we gotta fix now is just the collision. So I'm gonna just try to figure out how to do that. Alright, so it's been about an hour, but I finally got the collision to work, and I think I might eventually even turn this into a full game, because I mean, this train is just sick. Alright, so I moved the train over to this part of the map, and then I just found these tracks and placed them underneath the train, and I then just extended the tracks and played around a bit until I finally got this. Alright, so here's where we're at right now. It's pretty much just a straight line, not much, but what I'm thinking is I'm gonna have the tracks turn up this mountain, and then we'll just kind of have it be like a roller coaster. That's what I'm hoping will work, but we'll just see. Alright, so it's been about 30 minutes, and we kind of have a problem. So I don't know how I didn't realize this, but this whole train is just attached, and this is the track that we got so far. And when I try to turn the train, the whole train's just gonna fall off the track. Like, it's not gonna turn, especially over here. There's just too many curves and turns. So what I'm gonna do is hop into Blender and separate this train and then re-import it. So then I'll have two separate sections. Alright, so I just re-imported the train, and now I have two different sections. But as I was doing this, I was thinking, even with two different sections, this is still not going to be possible. The train is just still going to fall off the tracks. The train's just too big. So I think we're just going to have to delete this all and redesign the track just to be a straight track. But I think that's okay, because if I end up turning this into a game, if there's too many turns and angles, players will probably just fall off the train. And if I turn this into like a free-for-all, that would just completely ruin the map. So I think just having a straight line will work better. Alright, so currently the train is over here, and I think I'm going to move it over to this part of the map, because there's this straight path going through the whole map, and then we won't have to have any turns. And I think it would be cool because we'll be able to build like a bridge underneath the tracks. So that's what I'm hoping will work. We'll just have to see. Alright, check it out. We got a straight line going through this whole map, and the only thing we got to do now is pretty much just build a bridge and then maybe add some sound effects to the train, and that should pretty much be it then. Alright, so for the bridge, I looked up some images of like the OG train tracks back in like the old days, you know, and I found these images, and pretty much what it looks like is the track sits on some type of wooden platform with railings, and then there's just kind of like a bridge underneath it. So I'm just going to try to replicate that. Alright, so this is what I got. It's just a wooden floor with railings, and I'm gonna just extend it through this whole track, and then we'll build the bridge underneath it. Alright, so it's not completely done, but here's what we got so far, and I just got to do this part, but it's looking pretty good. Alright, so I've been doing this now for like 30 minutes, and we're almost done, but the most annoying thing is trying to get it lined up with the track. If you get it off just a little bit, it'll completely mess up the trajectory of the track. So it's pretty tedious, but we're almost done. So the platform is now complete, and now we got to build the bridge. And what I'm thinking, the way we'll do it is we'll use these walls, and then we'll just angle it kind of like this, and we'll just have it taper up, and I think that'll look pretty good. Alright, so I'm thinking something like this, and then I'm just gonna have it go across this whole track. Looking pretty classical, I would say.
What?
So this is just one side. We still got to do the other side, but so far this is looking pretty good. Second side complete. Now we just got this little area over here. Then we just got to fill the middle with some walls, and then the bridge will be complete. So just a little behind the scenes of how I'm doing this. I just build the first layer, and then just select all the pieces, and then just copy it one layer underneath it, and then just do it all the way until the bridge is fully touching the ground. Okay, so the side walls are now all complete. Now we just have to build the middle supports, and then that should be it. While the bridge is now complete and it's not perfect, if you come inside, there's like gaps. It's not completely covered, but I mean, from the outside, you can't even tell. And I would say this looks pretty close to the picture, so I would say this is good. I then just added the train back and animated it to go across the whole track, and then just downloaded some sound effects and put them together to make this track. And then lastly, I just did the mechanics, and then the train was fully complete. All right, so before I show you the train, next video, I'm going to completely finish this map, and then I'll try to get it into Discovery. What I'm thinking, it will just be a free-for-all map on top of the train. I think it will be super cool. But anyways, here's the full train with the sound effects. Enjoy and then subscribe.